All right, guys, and welcome to the second season of the Brummy Brothers. We're back.
In this returning episode, expect to find out our top 5 things that we've been doing over the last 8 months since our last episode, and we're going to delve into those and basically give some context over where we've been and what the fuck we've been doing.
Let's get into it.
Stop the applause. We are back.
Well, we're partially back.
Well, we're back.
Semi-back.
Pretty much back now.
Yeah, because it's not the optimal setup that we sold the dream really on that front, weren't we? I think
it's pretty good though. I mean, the sound will be slightly better because we're in an actual studio, but we haven't managed to square the circle of proper mics just yet, which we've been saying for about a year. So that's good.
Yeah. So welcome to season 2 of the Brummy Brothers, episode 1. This episode is going to be bit of a catch-up, but not in the conventional sense that you've become accustomed to, because that's gash.
We've structured a catch-up.
There is some structure. We're going to Trojan horse a catch-up into kind of like a top 5 things we've done since we last put out an episode. So we're all caught up in that sense. And then moving forward, we'll then go into more of kind of like thematic episodes that are structured around an actual topic, basically.
Yeah, so again, we've done catch-ups in the past, and we came to realise they were gash, right? So we've put some structure behind this one. We are out of practice, but don't let that fool you. First time listening, we're fucking pros. All right, so we're going to go through the top 5 things, top 5 life events that have happened for us in the last, 6 months, I guess, right?
Early November was our last episode.
Okay, so
which
8
is
months.
Mental.
Crazy.
8 months off air.
Yeah, we had a big sabbatical there, but we're back now.
It does genuinely feel a bit weird being in front of like a camera again
in a long form podcast.
Yeah,
it really does feel strange. And we did it every week for a year and a half.
We were dialed in, which is why everyone was so fuming when we just stopped. But
well, you've been getting about a message per.
At least a message per week. It was a bit jarring because I'm trying to run a coaching business here and people are just asking me about podcasting. I mean, I'm flattered, it's great. And I guess it is an extension of our coaching. But
yeah, it's a good sign though, I guess. People obviously
enjoyed it. Yeah, but it's better than fucking no one giving a shit, isn't it?
That's true. I mean, the worst eventuality would be no one watching.
And there are podcasts out there like that, so yeah, not naming names.
But the thing is, we have probably leveled up a little bit in terms of setup.
Oh, for sure.
You go all the way back to when we were fucking starting. We probably had as good a camera. Mike was terrible, and the setup was your shed.
Yeah, so just to contextualise this, if anyone is new around here or isn't an OG listener, our original setup was kind of like a gash, like Rode desk mic, just plugged into the laptop, wasn't it? That we shared.
Yeah, one between 2. It was gash. The issue is...
It's annoying because they're actually the best episodes. So, like, if you've listened to the first, like, 6 lifting the lids, which is... they are our most listened episodes.
Yeah.
That was on that gash setup. So the picture quality is shit.
The audio is real shit.
The lighting shit, and then the audio is the shittest of them all.
Which is kind of the most important thing.
Yeah. It just shows how good the quality of the actual broadcasting is, though. Because people look past that.
People still listen. We are going to probably reimagine those episodes in some way in this setup where we can actually be happy with the production. Anyway, without further ado, let's get straight into the 5 things. We're going to alternate, go back and forth. Ed's going to start.
I don't know why I got my laptop, because there's nothing on it.
That's
literally like a notes page with 5 bullet points and one of them's missing.
That's sweet, happy days. I hope you can remember it, because you are going first.
Yeah, that's good.
So Ed's going first. We're going to flip-flop between us. Top 5 events that have happened in our life. We're going to just delve in. Let's go.
Yes, right. So I'll just caveat this to kind of cover my back, really.
I thought we always did that. Caveat, mate.
So within this period, I have celebrated being with my missus for a year, which I think I should, that is an achievement.
But you haven't included that.
Well, I haven't, because I've tried to gear this more towards fitness, because primarily it is a fitness podcast. But I'd like to put that out there.
Just in case you're listening.
Yeah,
I haven't forgotten.
You probably will listen.
Yeah.
So, that's obviously a seismic moment.
For sure. Congratulations, buddy.
Yeah, cheers. And then there's another thing as well, which I'm not going to mention because it's SF. It's in the background at the minute. But you probably find out about that, at some point in the future. But we'll keep that. We'll keep it on the DL for now. I'm not dying, don't worry.
Or joining SF.
Yeah, well, you don't know. So number 5 is basically the travelling that I've done in this period. I've just lumped it all together.
Okay.
So I think since we were last on air, I've been to maybe like Italy, I think I've done another trip to Italy in that time. I've definitely done Barcelona, Athens, and Split.
Nice. Okay.
Not as well travelled as yourself, but
I've basically been to one place, just multiple times.
but people who do know me know that I do have a fear of anywhere outside of Europe. So
True.
I just,
We found that out last year.
especially Americans.
Okay, I have a question. So, of all that travel, this is something I learned recently. It's kind of gay, but whatever. So, there's 3 categories I want to draw from these travel experiences. So, a rose, which is the best thing. So, the crowning achievement or crowning kind of experience within that, all the travel experiences. A bud, which is going to be like an opportunity that you can maybe see from all those things, whatever that is, and a thorn, so something that's a bit shit of those things. So there's 3 answers to that, and from all the trips.
What's the thorn? Just like a hiccup?
Yeah, it's something that was annoying or a bit not as well as didn't go as well as you wanted. You start there if you want.
Yeah, something immediately springs to mind. In Athens, I somehow managed to contract a UTI.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Which is
Is that the first time?
Now the second. I don't know what I think it's called cyclist syndrome.
Right.
And what it is because it's the only thing I can think of, right? Because at that period, I was doing a lot of saddle time. Not a euphemism.
Yeah.
And I Googled it. And apparently, because obviously like being in the saddle puts a lot of pressure on like your perineum.
It makes
or
sense.
whatever.
Yeah.
It can kind of compress like some of the nerves and the blood flow around that region that leads to like bacteria buildup and stuff.
Interesting.
In your, I don't even know what it is, but like from what I read, that's I never actually got.
Well, it's just constant pressure on one specific area, probably doesn't help.
Yeah, exactly. So I think if you don't have the right bike setup, which I obviously don't, because that's boring. Like all that noisy road bike stuff, fucking lost on me. I just want to ride. Yeah. So I flew to Athens with a UTI, which if you've never, any female listeners probably will understand. It's incredibly rare for a man to get a UTI.
It's true.
Mate, it's shit. It's horrible. You constantly need a piss.
Right.
You know that feeling of needing a wee? That's constant.
Right, great.
Right. When you do piss, it stings.
A bit like if you ever had chlamydia.
Yeah, literally. It burns. Right. It's just horrible. So you always need a piss. You try and rectify the situation. It hurts more.
Brilliant.
And it doesn't get better unless you actually go on a course of antibiotics. So unless
you have to do that.
So unless you're proactive about it.
Oh, fucking hell, that's terrible. And did you manage to get antibiotics in?
Yeah, I found a dodgy pharmacy in Athens, a boss man. And I think you are supposed to get them on prescription or like see a.
Did he square you away?
Yeah, he squared me away because he just thought he's a tourist. Like fuck it, this isn't going to come back
to
me.
The system.
So, yeah,
get him, overcharge him or something.
So that was definitely a thorn.
Uh-huh.
And I now constantly live in fear of getting a UTI again because I have a bit of medical anxiety anyway.
Yeah.
So I was pretty like squared away with my hydration as it was. I now drink even more.
Is that what it is? Like you can drink enough.
It can. So like if you're dehydrated, it can like exacerbate the symptoms. So like,
well, that would make sense.
It helps kind of flush. It helps flush the system out if you stay well hydrated.
Interesting. Didn't think you were going to get a UTI lesson.
That's it, mate. You'd never know what's coming with the Brummy Brothers. We're straight back in hard hitting journalism.
Okay, opportunity from those trips, if there is one. Sometimes more difficult to answer.
Yeah, it is hard. What do you mean in terms of opportunity?
Whatever you see fit.
I do like going to Italy. So obviously, well, not obvious. My missus is Italian, so all of her family is in Italy. I do like spending time in Italy with her family, just because it's a very different way of life, and it's a good escape from fucking Birmingham ultimately, which is shit.
True. I mean, it could just thread into the rose portion, couldn't it? But I guess the bud could be just the opportunity to see how another culture lives, and therefore appreciate that.
And crucially for me, a very chilled out culture.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Because I am pretty like on edge,
high strung.
Whereas obviously stereotypically Italians very like horizontal.
Yeah, I mean, unlike your missus, which is actually quite funny.
Yeah, he's kind of more wired towards myself. Yeah, so and then in terms of a rose, if there's a standout moment, I don't really know. Really, like they've been all good trips. Obviously, Croatia was class.
Yeah.
The villa in Croatia was mental, which we might talk about
probably
a bit.
Get into
that was sick, obviously with the team. Barcelona's a class city. is like very livable, I think.
Very true. I agree.
And there's loads of good, like the food in Barcelona is amazing. We went to like a husky cafe, which is it's a cafe with huskies in it, you pet. That was sick.
Can't really go
Can't
wrong
complain with
It's
that.
really hard to fuck that up.
Athens, bit overrated, but obviously like seeing the Pantheon. I don't know what the fucking Pantheon is. I'm talking about my house. What's that thing on the hill? Parthenon. Yeah, the Acropolis.
Yes.
The Acropolis
Yeah,
up on the
yeah,
hill.
yeah, yeah.
Fucking some
Well,
old
you
shit.
should know. You've been.
I know. I'm so well cultured, that's it. I think one of them's in Rome, one of them's in Greece, so you have to forgive me on that one. But yeah, basically seeing all the old relics in Athens is cool. Beyond that,
Athens
it's a very average city.
Yeah, I remember you saying.
Beyond
the history.
Their history is doing a lot of the heavy lifting. I think they had their peak and they've just kind of wrapped after that.
Yeah.
They're living off former glories, the Greeks.
Like a ex-athlete.
Yeah, not today, my friend, not today.
So like his ACL's gone.
Yeah, it's like trials for West Ham, that kind of vibe.
Got it, yeah. Makes sense.
But yes, that's my number 5.
I like it. My number 5, I've gone in chronological order rather than order of importance.
Oh, okay, so you've mixed it up, so we're different. So I have gone in kind of like significant. That's variance there.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've just basically for recollection's sake.
Yeah.
I kind of casted my mind back and thought, what's happened? Number 5 was the Austin Half Marathon for me, because we missed that first year we went to Austin, right?
Yeah, no. So we had the opportunity to do it, and we were put off by the fact that it was like $200.
It's extortionate.
$200.
Yeah, it's insane.
And so it was. We kind of missed it in that we could have signed up for it, but we'd done no prep for it. So
it was the week after. Right?
Yeah, it was like the week after we got there, and I'd just come off the back of like doing my 200 kilo squat build, so I hadn't done any running. I don't think you'd particularly done.
No, I wasn't.
A load of running, so we could have done it and just like plodded it.
But it wouldn't have been the full experience, would it? And
No.
again, it was like $300 or something ridiculous.
It was actually $200, which is fucking mental.
It's like 5x the price of a normal half. But anyway, this time when I went, it was the week after again. It shifted for some reason, but it was the week after. And I thought, well, we missed it last time. I've got to bite the bullet and just do it. So I bought the ticket about a week out, which is the most expensive time to book it, which was like $240. Ridiculous. Anyway, I think I put that. I've done loads of races now, halves, 10Ks, marathons, whatever. I put that second to the London Marathon in terms of... So the London Marathon is definitely top, and that's because obviously it's a marathon first off, so it's a great achievement, whatever. And if you've ever been to Spectate, you'll know that the city just comes alive. It's amazing. But Austin is very much secondary to that because it's a very like active city in parts, and there's definitely like a strong fitness community. So they all basically come together for that event, and everyone shows up, everyone comes out. The route is just insane. Like it's straight up out of the major city, so you get all the views of the skyline, and then you come back on yourself to come down back into the city, and it's just ace. And then the reason why it's in my top 5, performance-wise, it took me by surprise because I was right at the start of my half marathon build, so I was nowhere near where I should have been, and I kind of used it as a bit of a test the waters vibe. And it's basically uphill for the first 4 miles.
Yeah, which
sucks.
It's not a great way to start a half marathon,
No,
that, is it?
It's horrible. And then you're thinking, fucking hell, this is so much harder than it should be. And then you round the corner and it's downhill for the next 5, which is
class.
Great.
Stat pad.
Yeah, and you're just like, fuck, I'm singing at fucking 650s it. And so I managed to get in like 136, which was much better than I expected. And it was just a sick experience. And it was like, again, my first weekend in Austin. And it was a good way to like break ground in the trip, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So no, it was really cool. That was my number 5 anyway.
Yeah, I guess the reason why like the Austin half and probably the marathon as well are probably so cool is like geography dictates that. I mean, as you say, Austin itself is it's a very active city anyway.
Yeah.
But also because the US is so vast, they don't have the luxury like we do in the UK of being so close to other cities. So like realistically in the UK, if you like racing, within probably like a 2-hour drive, 90-minute drive of where you live, you'd be able to find something to do like a 10K or a half pretty much throughout the year. In the US, because the next nearest city from Austin is probably like maybe San Antonio, which is like a good hour.
Yeah.
Beyond that, even more. It's more sparse. So I guess the events that are on are bigger, better, they put more resource into it.
Yeah, it's a bit like any American sporting event. It's like they just go one up, don't they? We had the shakeout run the day before, which was like ran by Nick Bear and the team. It was just sick. Like to see, because it's so weird. I've watched hours and hours of Nick Bear, as I'm sure many people have, on YouTube, and just like.
Did you see him?
Yeah, he ran the shakeout run basically. Like right at the start, he gave his big motivational speech or whatever.
Yeah, trying to get some touch time with him.
Yeah, he was there handing out caps and doing whatever else, and it's just like so weird to see, as you'll probably experience if you've ever met someone who you watch online loads. To see him in real life. It's like, what the fuck? He's actually here. But yeah, that was kind of cool. And so that whole weekend as the first weekend to that trip was kind of cool. So that one.
That's a strong one.
Number 4 for you.
Well, I haven't got anything for this, but I'll do.
Ad-lib.
I was going to segue this into one of my other ones, but I think it is a standalone point. Joining the HS Fitness coaching team. There we go, mate. On brand. Product placement.
Let's go. Yeah, well, it's almost like I did it on purpose. Yeah, it's a fucking big. It's a big move.
It is. Well, I guess I don't know. I guess people are familiar with this now, but it is literally.
Also.
So it probably. When did we officially announce that?
Not
March
long ago.
or something.
Yeah.
So it was kind of in the background for a few months, wasn't it? Like kind of like integrating me into like all of the
you have to just
procedures and stuff.
Phase people in, I guess. You know, just to go straight in because just there's a lot of people to get to grips with in the business and a lot of systems and whatever. So yeah, you're right. We kind of phased it in, and then in about March time probably went.
I know we're fucking cooking, mate.
Well, we are cooking.
Genuinely, you hear a lot of people saying that, we're cooking, I'm the hardest worker in the room.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely, we are like a good coaching team,
like
objectively.
Like an engine room. Literally, because we kind of bring different things to the table, which is cool. Like, we all work in very different ways.
Yeah, so there's me, you, and Blod as the coaching core. And like you said, we bring very different skills to the table, which is what you want from a team. You don't want groupthink, do you?
Exactly. And very different like experience sets as well, which is also really useful because when someone brings a problem to the table potentially, or like a perspective to the table, rather than just having, like you say, 3 of the same person to answer that question, you have 3 very, very different experience sets to go into that. So it's been really, really useful. And for me, it's been huge because it's meant that I have more time to dedicate into other things, and it means that the product that people do get is now better because it's more focused, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and it's just exciting, isn't it? Like you said, like the product there, and it sounds wanky, but like it is cool.
Sick. Yeah.
Like watching kind of where we started, and already just after a few months, like where we've got to.
Well, it's literally been what 3, not even that. Officially, probably 3 months maybe.
Yeah.
And it is sweet. The biggest thing for me is the ability to just bring in your best friends. It's so
cool. Like, it is weird that actually, like we're all just mates.
It's so mad.
It's really weird that it's so unique, really, for yourself that like the first, 3 people you've actually brought into the business. Are all actually just basically your best mates. Well, but not nepotism. Like they actually serve the exact skill set you were looking for. It's so rare, mate.
It's incredible. Yeah, I was like, I need, someone to do to help me with like the military prep side of things. Blod's serving RFCTI, did fucking loads of time in the call with me, so knows how I think, knows this and that. And then he brought in, and then I'm like, I need a bit more of a strength and conditioning arm. Okay, Ed's just done his strength and conditioning coaching course, like sick. So just manages to all come together, and it's mental. And to the point I'm probably going to move into in a second, but when you can have that group environment that isn't just like an office can be effective and productive anyway, because people are working on a shared mission, which is great. But when those people know each other in and out, we've known each other fucking however many years.
We could
probably do the math.
15 years.
Yeah, right. So you know exactly how each other think.
Mad.
Literally, and now we just can bring that into work, and it's so effective.
It just makes things so much more streamlined. It's like it's the same with podcasting. Like you can't
artificially engineer.
Yeah, you can't artificially manufacture like chemistry.
Yeah, true.
And in the same way in a business, you can't artificially manufacture like that communication because you just know how you know how the other person ticks. You know their strengths, you know their weaknesses. That if you were strangers or like an external hire, that could take years to kind of work someone out. By which time they might have fucking moved on.
Yeah, 100%. And the biggest thing for me is trust, as like the top of the tree almost. Is like the reason a lot of people don't hire in business is because lack of trust in the person they may hire and the task they may give over. Whereas I'm just super comfortable. Like I know that everyone's competent, so I'm like, okay, if I ask someone to do something, I know it's going to be done at a great standard, and that's puts my mind so far at ease that's like I don't need to worry about it. And a lot of times it can be an extra stressor for people to hire because they're now worried about that person's output, which is even worse than them just doing it themselves. So yeah, it's been absolutely huge. But anyway, you finish your point about it.
Well, that was it really. It's just onwards and upwards, isn't it?
Yeah. And again, it's a mad situation we found ourselves in, really. Yeah. If you think about how many people get the specific situation we're kind of in,
we're incredibly lucky. Minimal. Like it's not lost on us, don't we? We're very incredibly lucky that we can do what we do in the situation that we're in, the circumstances that we're in. And if you are out there looking for some coaching, I think you'd struggle to find better value for money than what we offer, really.
I mean, that's
the
intention.
For a start, you're getting 3 coaches for the price of 1.
Yeah.
So already, on that alone.
Yeah, and it means again, like with the fact we're all so close, like when something needs doing or when there's like something to maybe be held accountable to, there's no problem at all. Like it's just the ability to pull someone up on something. There's no ego there. Like it's very unique. So yeah, well, again, as Ed said, if you're looking for any coaching, then you know where we are. We built this team out for the reason to try and answer every fucking question you could answer and plug every gap. So you've been safe hands.
Right, let's put a hard stop on that one. What's your 4?
Let me check. Well, we mentioned it a little bit, and it kind of feeds in. But Croatia trip with the boys
was sick.
It's just chronological. This is probably up there, really. But
if you look up dialed in the dictionary, there's just a picture of us sat around that fucking desk in the villa.
It was so sick. So
smoke coming off the keys, mate.
Fucking amazing. So this, for context, I'd been in Austin for 8 weeks now. I hadn't seen the boys for that probably time, or maybe 10, 12 weeks since Christmas. I was like, okay, I need to get together because I know that whenever we are together, there's just a bit more productivity and it's shit happens a bit faster anyway. So everyone that was available out of the team, I was like, let's hire some fucking sick place in Croatia. It'll be sunny, it'll be vibes, and then so we came together for like a week where we went on holiday, right? But we just grafted the entire time.
Yeah, I'll be honest, like in terms of like from the perspective of work-life balance, it wasn't a great example.
Probably not, no.
But that's a good sign because if you enjoy work that much, you kind of naturally just want to kind of
feed into it.
And
it is enjoyable. Like
that's what I mean.
Obviously in that environment, it's incredible. But
yeah, it is amazing. Like I guess it's it doesn't feel like work, which I know is like you still probably stress. It's a stressor to the body.
True.
But like it doesn't. It's not like you went on holiday and then you felt obliged to trawl through your emails. Like,
no.
We got together and we were like, oh shit, let's do this. Like, what are we going to do about that?
Yeah.
And then it just snowballed.
It was so good. We probably moved forward in probably got like 4 months of progress done in that week. Because again, when everyone's together, there's just a different speed to everything happening. So that was really, really useful, both from like a business perspective and from an experiential enjoyment perspective. Because all we were doing was we'd get up, we'd caffeinate and train, and then we'd work on my business for the entire day, which feels amazing because everyone's kind of bought into the same vision. And then we'd sit in the sun or we'd chill out and then we'd go get food in the evening. It was like that. If every day could be like that, I'd be like, I'm good.
Simple life.
So good.
The setting helped a lot with that because it was crazy. Because it's like you're doing work, but because the location is so relaxing, and like picturesque,
Sort of.
it's like immediately any stress that was created from the work is like nullified by the environment.
So true.
So it was like your iPhone just constantly being on charge. It was never draining.
That's so genial. But we managed to get a really, really good deal on like a villa in Croatia because it was the first. So sometimes you'll see a listing on Airbnb and it'll be the first ever listing, so there's no reviews, and people are really skeptical as to book it because fucking no reviews, it might be a scam. And I was like, fuck it, let's book it. So we booked it and got it probably for like
a third
of the price it should have been, and it was insane. So
fortune favours the brave,
exactly,
and the stupid,
But
you know, on that occasion, it paid off.
Yeah, it's good. And again, like for the business we're in, being able to get together and film content and do all that, have speed with making decisions is huge. So
just those little things as well that potentially, like, unless you're together, don't necessarily get prioritised because you just can't. Busy doing the actual kind of like day-to-day work.
Yeah.
But when you have that extended period of time together, you can actually cover the stuff that ordinarily would just get pushed. Oh, we'll do that like next week. There was a lot of things that were on the to-do list that hadn't been done for ages, or like that we wanted to do, like put in place, that we could then do.
Just get chopped up. And like you say, when online, even in our situation, sometimes you can feel like you're bothering someone to keep reaching out to them or keep telling them to do shit. But in the same room, you just shout on them. So yeah, that was ace. As a week, that stands out for me anyway in the last couple of months.
Also, Croatia's sick as well. I've never been to Croatia before. It's very similar like vibes to Italy. I know it's only over the water. So yeah, it's very like chilled out people. Probably good for the way I'm wired to be exposed to that because I can get too caught up in like the productivity trap sometimes.
True.
So it's refreshing to go somewhere where it's like actually, the whole point is enjoying yourself.
Yeah,
not necessarily grafting until you fucking
your eyes bleed. That's where you need to be probably in Europe more times than you think. America just wouldn't suit because it's the opposite.
It's terrible. Yeah,
it's completely like the antithesis of that.
Yeah.
But anyway, number 3. Is it number 2?
Yeah, number 3 for myself. I ran my first ultra.
Yes.
Which I've forgotten about now.
Bosh.
Read into that what you will. Etched from my memory. No, it wasn't actually. I really enjoyed it, to be fair. Me and my girlfriend did a 50-kilometre trail ultra. Ooh. So not on road, kind of cross-country vibes, in early April. So we started building in early January, did like a 3-month build, got a marathon in the lead up to it, because my girlfriend had never done a marathon. So it was like, well, if you're going to cover an ultra trail distance, you may as well like squeeze a marathon into the bill, because it's 2 for the price of 1 then. That was gash. We won't talk about that. That was one of the worst events I've ever done.
Did sound shit, that.
Yeah. That was shit. Not because we weren't prepared for it. Like the actual organisation of it was just gash. Having also, with my only other frame of reference being London Marathon, like one of the top 6 marathons in the world, I was always set myself up for fail.
Yeah. Especially with something that's like a grassroots, there's no chance.
Yeah, but I like ultras. I like the fact, especially trail ultras, obviously it's fucking hard graft.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that it's constantly varied in that you're always just kind of, you might be on the road for a bit, you might be in woodland, you might be going across fields, you might be going through mud. So it makes it more engaging than just, repetitively plodding on a road. I like the energy and kind of like the vibe of it compared to road races because really you tend to get less noises.
True.
There's less like gatekeeping, I think, because there's just an acceptance that it is kind of like an achievement in itself to cover the distance. So there's less emphasis placed on what time you've got, and it's actually more just about kind of enjoying the event.
Exactly, yeah, and it's exactly the same thing. There's a very different priority and a different success metric people go into that with. People go into marathons with, I've got to hit this certain time or whatever, run this certain pace, pressure's on, wearing my fucking alpha flies, whatever. Whereas and
then you cream in.
You go into an ultra thinking, well, as long as I finish the race, I'm like that, I'm happy, and that just chills you so much because it's such an easy, a comparatively easier thing to do.
Yeah.
Because even if things go wrong, you can just plod through.
And also, it is just incredibly rewarding because marathons are hard. Don't get me wrong, but ultras are even longer.
Yeah.
It's just so prolonged, especially if you're doing one with a lot of kind of elevation.
Yeah.
Because you just can't get into your rhythm. So they're incredibly like energy inefficient really, because you kind of you jog for a bit, then you'd like walking uphill, and you might fucking run on a flat, and it like, you know, the depending on the distance that you're doing, you're talking like half a day, really. So you can't cheat that. It is a meritocracy in that sense, in that you have to be conditioned to it physically, but then you also have to be on it with your like the logistics of it, like your nutrition, your hydration, because if you let any of those slip, really, the chances of failure are exponentially higher than just kind of cuffing a 10K.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, nutrition is probably like 70% of it, really.
Yeah.
You know, your miles on your legs and nutrition is probably the whole cake, really. If you're not fueling yourself properly throughout that fucking race, you're just going to die off because it's 6 hours or 7 hours, whatever it is. And like you say, you can't cheat your way there. Everyone there has to have done a certain amount of work, which is great. And then out of 10, what would you say the effort level was on that? Not like intensity, but just overall.
It's weird, isn't it? Because it's not like intense. So like psychologically, it probably doesn't feel like it was that high level of exertion. But actually, like 7 hours of if I look back now, it was like a good kind of like 8.5.
Yeah, it's pretty
rough. It was probably like we gauged it perfectly in terms of like a first trail ultra to take on,
and pacing and
yeah, I think
proper build and
for sure, yeah. Like, I mean, we could have tried to push the pace a bit more, but then you run the risk of not finish. And obviously, especially with your first ultra, the goal should always just be to cover the distance.
That's certainly what we were trying to do on our first one, especially if it's a trail as well. But to your point, every trail ultra, if you do say a trail 50k and another trail 50k,
they're completely different. Yeah.
So that you can't
compare them.
Oh, I did 5 hours at this one, so let's do 5 hours at this one. Completely different, which is also nice because it just takes all the ego out of it, and you fucking run the course you're on.
For sure.
Which is great. I mean, we did the 25k one
in the
not
lakes,
long back in the lakes, and it was savage. It was like 3 hours, and I was like, fucking hell, this is nails. But again, really rewarding for the same reasons. But yeah, good.
What's your number 3, lad?
Number 3.
You got one?
I have. Number 3. High Rocks Houston. So my High Rocks Pro in Houston.
An American High Rock?
An American High Rock.
Is it big in America?
Yes.
It
certainly is now.
Do you think that's why they had the World Championships in America this year and not in Europe? Because they're trying to penetrate the market?
Probably, and it has worked. I think.
Very gullible like that, Americans, aren't they?
I love it,
if you give them a bit of attention, then they go all fucking soft and warm to you. Yeah, exactly. Really vacuous.
Yeah, and so the High Rocks America page, I don't think is very new, and so it was probably one of the more junior events, I think, but it was pretty sick. I mean, main reason I trained at a specific gym with a specific set of people for like 4 weeks for that.
So that's not Liam Neeson from Taken.
Very
specific set of skills.
Yeah. And they were all competing as well. So after the weekend, I was watching everyone. After the weekend, I was focused on my own competition. But with the first pro race, it was just a fucking slap in the face. It's just nails. Like it's difficult as an individual pro, and that was one of my goals. The start of the year was to do adequately okay in a men's pro High Rocks, and that was that, and I got my target time 1:14. So kind of happy with how all that went, and there was a big build to it and all the rest of it. So that was kind of good. And then the experience of being in Houston after with all the people that I just met, and like it's just kind of cool.
Yeah. Have you got a sliding scale of fun for High Rocks, really? Like the fucking single pro is the least fun option, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really, like for sure. And then like doubles open.
Probably relay.
Actually, relay. I always forget that's a thing now. That's not that's bollocks. That, by the
way. We can get into that. But doubles open is great. You're chilling. But men's pro is just a slog. You're just having to obviously manage all the effort on your own. But again, the race was part of it, and I was happy with the performance. But as you all know, and anyone who's done anything relatively difficult, they've trained for a long period of time, that day afterwards or the afternoon afterwards, always is a certain type of euphoria you have. And because that was coupled with being in a new city and being with new people and like experiencing new things, it was really cool as a compounding effect.
Yeah.
On that, you know.
What do you make of Houston?
Okay, I prefer Austin, but
For sure.
and most people who I've spoken to do. I think downtown Houston, where like there's a lot of good food and there's a lot of good nightlife and that kind of thing, but I think outside of that, it's pretty rough from what I can tell.
Where does
It's
it
huge as
Where
well.
does it rank in terms of like pull compared to other Texan cities? You got Austin, Houston,
Dallas. Yeah.
San Antonio.
Yeah. So
Any others I've missed?
Well, probably. Yeah, there's
Probably.
San Marcos. There's all these kind of smaller ones. I'm not sure if there's any bigger ones that you've missed there.
Because Austin is the state capital, right?
Is it? Yeah.
I think so, because it's got the Capitol building.
Makes sense. Yeah.
But it's not actually the biggest city in Texas, I don't think.
Dallas is.
Maybe Dallas, probably Houston as well.
Houston. But yeah, so to answer your question, I think right now, from layman's terms, I would imagine that Austin has the biggest draw, with Dallas second and Houston third, from what I can tell. And people go to San Antonio either because they've grown up there or
They're Mexican.
they can't afford Austin, maybe, or they don't want to live in Austin potentially, and they want to be proximal. It's only like 45 minutes.
I quite like San Antonio.
It's good. Yeah, it was nice.
I think I think we literally did see the only bits of San Antonio
that's what
you'd
I mean.
want to see.
I don't think there's much to it.
That lazy river thing they had there was sick.
Really
that
cool.
that like was mind bending. Wasn't expecting that at all when we went
I
there.
know. I was like,
I thought we were in fucking like Disneyland.
well, I was expecting like a Wild West kind of place, you know, and it was like the opposite
Yeah.
because of where it is in the country. But yeah, so that was cool. I didn't make too much of Houston, but again, it was the specific situation I was in that was cool.
Yeah.
But I would like to do Dallas at some point because from what I've heard, there's more going on there. So maybe that's on the list.
Sweet. Yeah. A hard stop on that one.
Yeah.
You locked in.
Locked in, number 4 for you.
Yeah, my number 2. So I've gone backwards. This is the fucking most retarded way of doing a top 5, by the way. I've like ordered them in terms of like
importance and grandeur.
probably grandeur, yeah. And I've gone from 5 to 1, and you've done them chronologically and gone from 1 to 5. You get the point. So my number 2 is doing my S&C qualification. Which obviously professionally is quite big.
Yeah. How long did it take you?
To the layman.
Door to door.
So it was self-taught. So realistically, like you kind of the onus is on you. But even if you kind of, I was pretty good with it, and I made sure I allocated time each week. So I think about 14 months all in all, from like onboarding to actually getting confirmation that I'd finished it.
Okay. And stand out differences maybe from what you were currently doing to what that course taught you, anything?
Yeah, well, should we probably contextualise it because, like, unless you work in our space, you'll have no idea what that actually is. But the like a strength and conditioning qualification is like a step on from like a PT qualification, really, and a the scope of work for a strength and conditioning coach compared to a PT is kind of reflective of what the syllabus is made up with. So general PT is more kind of like holistic health and fitness, working with general population, trying to implement kind of like better, healthier lifestyle habits. Strength and conditioning is kind of building on that and going more specific. So it's like more performance focused, tend to work more, not necessarily like athletes in the conventional sense of professional athletes, but people that are engaged in
it's generally athlete focused,
an actual sport, a performance goal, something specific. So with that comes kind of being more in tune with like strength and conditioning principles. Like actually, it's basically just it goes into more detail with stuff. Effectively, is what it is. So it's massive, really, because it just kind of upgrades all of your understanding, coaching capacity, communication skills. Like,
are there like 2 things you can pick out that are like key, maybe differences or things that you learned and discovered?
Yeah, so massive. Because I did my qualification through British Weightlifting, who are like the organising body for Olympic weightlifting in the UK. So there was a massive emphasis. I don't know if this is across all kind of strength and conditioning qualifications. There was a massive emphasis on Olympic lifting,
Okay.
which is something I was completely insulated to before, because it's not really my thing. Tend to lean more towards powerlifting. So that for myself, not even just like a coaching perspective, was huge, because it's something I've basically avoided for ages. So that was massive. And then for what we do as well, like plyometric training, I think was massive.
Yeah, I think so.
Because it bleeds into kind of the type of individual that we coach so much. Like it's central, really, to kind of their path to get to where they want to go to. And it's so kind of neglected, really, as an area of training, I think, compared to in relation to like the bang for buck you can get out of it, and the fact that people just don't normally do any of it is a bit mental. Yeah,
well, people don't generally know how to program it, or what it maybe should look like, or how to progress it, and these kind of things.
But yeah, like the mind, because again, it's just that detail piece, isn't it? It's like, what's the difference between like fucking jumping
and plyometrics
and what constitutes an actual plyometric movement? So it's just
and the people will go, oh yeah, I'm doing like jump squats or jump whatever. And it's like, it's not really nailing it, you know. And like they're doing it within a circuit and all these kind of things. And it's like, that's not real plyometrics. So people like think in their head, ticked off my explosive training because I'm doing jump squats in a circuit. It's like, not really nailed it there, darling. So like, and
that's proactive. That's like most people don't even kind of like
which
get
is
to that point.
You know, more to the point, not to labour too much, as to why just doing the circuits and the fucking whatever, and like even just winging your training, and not just talking about military here, but anything really, in terms of if you've got running certainly in your sights, it doesn't really cut the mustard. You know, just doing running and fucking a push-pull leg split, okay, cool, but you're missing a massive piece. And obviously plyos is one of those, but like there's loads of other things as well. So
there's loads of other.
The fact it illuminated that for you is ace. And I guess it feeds in as well to the Olympic lifting piece, because there's explosivity and all that kind of stuff massively on that. So.
But yeah, it was just really, because obviously I love what I do, so it's not just a case of like professionally, this kind of like unlocks some doors in terms of kind of the scope of my work and stuff, like, because I live and breathe what I do anyway. I just found it massively rewarding myself, because I find all this stuff really interesting. So that was cool. Nice. And as I say, it's kind of like the culmination of 14 months worth of work.
Yeah,
so it's the same as training for like a big race, isn't it? Something.
Well,
probably a cognitive goal.
Cognitive race.
Yeah.
Well, probably more than that. No one really trains for 14 months for a fucking race.
Maybe Ironman.
Yeah, true. From like beginner.
Yeah. For a full Ironman. Yeah, that's pretty nails, isn't it?
That's a pretty long build. Number 4 for me, backwards.
Fucking
again, it's chronological, guys. All right. Is Austin round 2, but the trip itself, I went to Austin again, but specifically the boat trip they organised for me, which was fucking just sick.
Boats and hose.
Boats and hose, mate. It was just this is completely unfitness related, but whatever. So I went back, and they'd organised on the weekend.
This is as close as like a couple of weeks ago, isn't it? Really?
Yeah,
this is within the last like month.
Within the last month, yeah. And I'd never been back to Austin or Texas in general in the heat and in the summer. So this was my first trip back in June, which was a bit of a step change in terms of weather. Obviously, it was really hot, and that was a whole other thing to deal with. But in terms of opportunity to do stuff as well, and the willingness for the locals to do stuff because it's warmer. And so the lake and the water becomes a big part of your life because it's the only place you can stay cool, basically.
That's it, yeah. Everyone flocks to Ladybird Lake.
So you have Ladybird Lake, to your point, and then it leads into Lake Austin, which we didn't actually go to, which is a different place. And all the millionaires live on Lake Austin, and there's like billionaires' houses. It's fucking insane.
You can picture it, can't you? Like,
right, yeah. So you're zipping down, and there's houses everywhere. They're crazy. So that's kind of cool just to see. And it was like 34 degrees, your worst nightmare. We had loads of beer on the boat. We had a wakeboard, or what's it called, the water surfing board or whatever, which I did try, and I was terrible at it. But it was just a good vibes for want of a better word. And you're allowed to play whatever music you like and whatever. Like, it was just pretty sick. So I quite like being on the water, and being on the water in that capacity is like peak of that. It's like peak existence for that kind of side.
Yeah.
You're with people you like. You're in good weather. You're drinking. It's Saturday, so you've had a good week. Like it's
very archetypal kind of like window into American culture, that, isn't it? Because it's
100%.
kind of like, I bet you were there thinking, oh, I feel like I'm in like American Pie or something.
Yeah,
it's
you
kind
do
of
feel
like,
like you're in a movie.
like
Yeah.
like Spring Break or something. It's that kind of energy, isn't it?
Yeah, and our boat driver kept pushing the time right. So we were supposed to go on at 3 o'clock. And he's like, no, we'll do 4. I don't know, we'll do 4:30. Anyway, and we booked 4 hours. So he was like, okay, 4:30 to 8:30. Starts going dark about 8. And he started to get, I'm going to criminalise him here. Fuck it. He started to get pretty fucking drunk with us, which isn't what you're supposed to do, right?
Professional.
And I think he was taking something else as well. Again, not what you're supposed to do at all. This bloke owns a fucking boat rental company in Austin, and he's got this boat, and he's like fucking pissed up and this and that, and he's loving it. We're obviously playing music. He's like, "You guys are so fun," and all this kind of stuff. Anyway, he like little known to us, rings the restaurant back ashore and goes, "Oh, can we book a table for 12 people?" Inviting himself.
These blokes on things, right?
To this meal. He's like, yeah, when we get back, we go to the meal and this and that. He didn't tell us that until we were on the way back.
I'm not a betting man, but from kind of the energy he's displaying, I can take a guess at the substance that he may have been supplementing his alcohol with.
Yeah.
A lot of confidence there.
Correct. And anyway, it was 8:30 and we were supposed to be going back, and we're literally still an hour away. So we didn't actually get back until 9. But that was kind of a benefit for me anyway, because first it meant we had longer on the boat, which was cool.
Yeah.
But all the other boats go back at a certain time, so we ended up just on the lake, sun setting, and there was no one else on the lake, and we were just zipping back at like 40 knots. It was sick. And anyway, we get back, and he was like, "Yeah, so I've booked this table here," and we were like, "Yeah, dude, we're gonna head off." He was fuming, mate.
Did you actually fuck him
We
off?
just dropped him, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, I mean, you're a captain and you're a baghead, so...
We got one of the lads to fucking tell him the good news. He was not happy. He kept messaging, so...
I hate people like that, by the way. Like that... People who get, like, fucked and then are just, like, overbearing are the worst people that you want to spend... No, it's not, because it's just like you've let yourself down, ultimately. I don't sound like your mom, but, like, you have let yourself down.
Well... Apparently, you're supposed to tip a boat driver ahead of time. So let's say it was £1,000. You're supposed to pay $1,200 ahead, so you've tipped ahead.
Yeah.
What he did was he charged the normal amount and then was expecting the tip afterwards. So after all this fucking shit went on, and he tried to book himself a meal, and he's like sniffing coke, whatever.
He lost his head.
He lost his head. He started messaging all the people. He's Venmo. He's like, he's linked to his fucking PayPal.
I can picture him, right? So he's fucked
He woke
off
up
his
in the
head
morning,
in his grot, and he's obviously he doesn't live with anyone because he's repulsive, and he's just like going to town on his DMs. And
he was just like going through all the people who got there. He's got his number, like messaging their links to like PayPal, QR codes.
He probably thought
he was fucking.
Yeah, he probably thought he was like Mr. Moneybags.
Yeah,
like,
everyone's just blocked him.
He thought. Fucking
so anyway, that was kind of funny, but whatever. That was a peak moment for me. It was pretty cool.
Nice. What are your aspirations with when you're next back in Austin?
It's a great question.
I
got asked loads of times. It's difficult because you have to. I got stopped at the border this time. I told you that, right?
Yeah. It's just they've become suspicious of your affinity with Austin, Texas. They think they're a drug mule or something.
I think they do. Yeah.
Bringing coke for our mate. It all makes sense now.
Yeah, shit. I'm just criminalising myself. So this time I got stopped. Long story short, because I'd spent 2 months there and then I came back for a period of time. And they're like, what are you trying to do here? Because most people who are holidaying here spend 2 weeks. So why are you spending so long? And obviously, because I can work from anywhere, that's kind of what I was doing. But they don't know that because you're not supposed to work on the visa I was on. So what you're supposed to do, he was telling me, you're supposed to have as much time out of the country as you've had in. And now cumulative, I've had 3 months now. So I'll need probably 3 months out to then go back, which is annoying. But so that, to answer your question, probably in a couple of, 3 or 4 months.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not all doom and gloom because there's, well, I'm sure you'll come on to that in your last point, but yeah, it's not the worst thing in the world.
No, it's right. It's absolutely fine for this stage. But the longer term dream would be to be able to get over there a bit more full time.
Get a little green card situation.
Yeah, we'll see. I've got my eyes on some some visa situations, and we're going to see if they're workable, basically.
Yeah.
Over the next few months.
Starting OnlyFans and
Yeah.
Move to California.
Yeah. Onlyfans.us. That'll be fine then.
Well, you have the bloody customer base for it. Half your DMs are just people
Honestly,
pestering you about like used budgie smugglers. It's
fucking crazy.
and they're not women. Let's put it that way.
They're not. That'd be great.
Yeah.
I bring it on myself, right? Because I post, reels in budgie smugglers. Fine, but the amount, every single time I post one of them, they go absolutely viral, and they go viral in the gay community, and then I get 1,000+ followers of gay men, and like a good 25% of them are brazen enough to send me messages.
That's the thing, isn't it? It's like, obviously, if you put a bit of a thirst trap out there, normally, like, I'm sure there are women that admire it, but like they have the restraint to not kind of display that or react to it. But if you dangle that carrot, the phallic symbolism is kind of
working there.
If you dangle the carrot to certain individuals, they can't resist.
They can't help themselves.
They are literally too horny for their own good.
Quite literally, it seems. And so, if I was operating an OnlyFans business, I'd be fucking in the money. I'd have my own one of these.
Yeah, literally.
I'd just be naked.
Yeah, well, I'd rather not.
No, anyway, your last one.
Well, I guess. So it's sobriety.
Ooh.
Right, as in I am still sober. I haven't drank alcohol for 16 months now, I think.
Sick.
Probably. I've stopped counting.
Old time.
Which, if you'd told me this when I'd started, would have blown my mind. Mm-hmm. But because it's just, I'm used to it now, it's the norm. It doesn't really feel like a thing anymore. So I appreciate, objectively, should be top.
Sounds like a lot of time.
But relatively for myself, it doesn't even occupy any of my thought processing anymore.
Probably a good thing. I was asking
which is great.
Asking you this yesterday, wasn't I, about how it's going, and you're like, well, don't even think about it.
Which is great, because if I was like, oh yeah, I'm 16 months sober, but I was like shaking, and it's all I could think about.
Counting down the fucking moments.
But whereas now I'm just I'm happy, not drinking.
That's good. Are you injected back into social occasions and stuff, or
yeah, there was a bit of a hard stop initially, obviously because in Britain, being socialising is normally synonymous with drinking, isn't it? So initially I had to kind of cut myself away, which probably wasn't a great thing in the short term.
Yeah.
But now I'm kind of more comfortable with being sober. I've got drip fed myself back into those situations. So now, obviously, you do reach a threshold, because if you're with people who are drinking, there is a cut-off, because they get to a certain level, and you kind of at that point need to remove yourself, really, unless you're a mental kind of extrovert. It just does get a bit too much, but it's fine now. It's fine, and also it's got to that. The best thing is really now, because people just expect it of me. You don't get that peer pressure.
When you do it for a period of time.
Yeah, I'd never buckle to anyway, because anyone knows me knows I'm incredibly fucking stubborn. Yeah. But it's just jarring, and it's kind of like an elephant in the room, isn't it? When you feel people want you to drink.
You wanting to go to those places and hang out with those people.
You have the same conversation with everyone. Yeah. Whereas now it's been long enough whereby everyone knows, Eddie doesn't drink. Yeah. So you don't have to have that same conversation 10 times.
Yeah, everyone's all right with it now because the novelty's worn off.
Yeah.
That's really good. Are you going to stay sober? Is that?
Yeah, well, you asked me this yesterday, didn't you? And my response was, I don't have a good reason to drink. If one's presented to me,
what would a good reason look like for you?
Like a special occasion. I'm sure at one point, I will revert to a policy of just drinking for special occasions, like weddings, like birthdays and stuff. But I don't have any of them really on the card. My birthday just went, but didn't really make a celebration of it. So there was no reason to do it, and I just don't have a burning desire to do it. You know what I mean? So if it's not a priority for you, why would you
True.
Because people that ask me that a lot of the time are coming from the perspective of drinking or going out at the weekend is a big part of their kind of routine.
Yeah.
So it's obviously for them, the idea of them not doing that would be massive. Whereas for myself, I have no desire to drink, so it'd be
that's true.
It's like saying, why aren't you getting into rock climbing?
Yeah, it's just an activity. It's just no interest in.
That's exactly it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's true. That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really think about it like that. It's something that, as you say, is the more distance you create from yourself to the thing, it becomes more and more weird as to why you actually did it in the first place. Like, if you think about deep what alcohol actually does for you, particularly if you're confident enough to not need it, for example, in social situations, like what it does for you is not a fucking lot, really. It makes you feel okay. But the actual sensation for being drunk isn't that nice. If anyone's ever done, I spoke about this before on the podcast, if anyone's ever done psychedelics, it's much nicer. You know, the feeling, the sensation, probably weed as well, never done it, is much nicer to do that. Feeling drunk is okay. It's like, all right, it's fine.
It's quite like...
It's strange.
It's quite overbearing, quite intense. You know,
Not sustained.
Not sustained, like
Not
very
controllable.
hard to find the balance as well. Like you're either kind of undercooked or overcooked, aren't you?
Yeah, and then like obviously we know the after effects, both in terms of recovery, performance, etc. But actually just feeling terrible the next day. Like there's so many negatives to it.
Yeah.
Like the upsides very minimal, and the downsides are pretty huge.
Well,
So,
we covered this before. I think we have. Like the main upside is really giving you that social lubricant, really, isn't it?
Depends on who it is, doesn't it? Because some people just drink at home, which is mental. But you know,
That's fucking wild, by the way. Like
some people just have like
cracking tinnies midweek.
Yeah, I mean, your missus made us some very nice Aperol spritz the other day, and
Yeah,
they're
she did.
fantastic. You know, sometimes I'll enjoy like a margarita or an Aperol, but like that's lovely. I'll have like one or
Yeah.
two. I'm happy with that, and because I feel like I have a good, healthy relationship with alcohol, I feel like I can enjoy that, and it's not really detrimental too much to me.
No.
And
And you did your half marathon PB the day after as well.
That's true.
So
That's true. I have two Aperol spritz. Yeah. Maybe that's a cheat code. Yeah, but I mean, I think there's a definite difference between if you rely on it for interaction and if you just utilise it for, all right, I'm just enjoying myself.
That's the whole reason I gave up, didn't I? Like I felt socially like alcohol had become like a bit of a crutch for me.
Yeah.
And that's not a good thing. So I was like, I had to put a hard stop to that.
Yeah, 100%. Like you've got to hold yourself accountable.
Yeah, press reset basically, like. Cause,
Yeah, factory reset.
Yeah, factory reset, because like these behaviours aren't really conducive to what actually kind of being present and sociable are.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, I just fucking need to nip this in the bud.
And
now I feel like I have a much better relationship with that, which is good.
That's fantastic, yeah. And that's probably pretty much what everything is about. For me, it represents a little bit of like a pressure valve. As far as when I have a drink, I now know, okay, I'm switching off. Does that make sense?
Is like an association thing almost?
A little, I think
like,
so.
Obviously there
a bit
is
like coffee. Is like the other way. Like I don't really feel the effects of coffee directly now.
It's probably placebo to an
of
extent.
course,
It's psychological, isn't it?
So, but when I have a coffee, I'm like, okay, I'm dialed in now. I'm locked in. Whereas it's not really the effects of the caffeine. In the same way, it's not really the effects of like one margarita, but it's more like, okay, I'm having alcohol now, so I'm switching off.
Interestingly, I get a bit of that now from just having zero alcohol beers.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Because I'm so far removed from it. Like my mind now, like I get the same feeling. I know I'm not drunk, but it chills me out. Like to be honest, it's rare I get a hankering for a beer. But like if the sun's nice, if the sun's nice, if the fucking if the weather's nice and the sun's out, like I can like leverage just like a 0% Corona, or like a 0% Asahi chilled, and it gives me that same feeling of like, all right, I'm kind of chilled out.
Yeah,
now.
association's massive.
They fucking taste the same as well. That's what I can't
they do
get on
taste
board
exactly
with.
the same.
Oh, it doesn't
especially
taste...
beer.
Yeah,
Because
beer's
like,
shit.
beer
Anyway,
is shit, mate. Like most beers are pretty shit.
That's it. So it's like, oh, I love the taste of beer. Right, that's great. because I've got an alternative that hasn't got any alcohol in it. It tastes exactly the same.
Still got no excuse.
Yeah. Oh wait, you just like being a pisshead.
Exactly. Yeah, and like to my point, you know, a margarita is nice. A good margarita is fantastic. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's pros and cons. I definitely drink on more regular occasions than obviously I maybe used to, just socially, but I still don't drink much. Maybe it's once every 2 weeks or something like that.
Yeah, you have a good relationship with alcohol, I think.
I haven't been. I was thinking about this. I haven't been actually drunk for fucking ages. Even when I go out.
Well, it's not probably. That is a good sign.
Of course,
because you've been drinking, but you've not been rat-arsed.
Yeah.
So that shows that you have the ability to
a level of control.
For
sure. Yeah, I think I do. I got that on my system very much so.
Well, I think we both did, which is why now we can walk away from alcohol in the same way that maybe other people didn't, because we put our foot down when we were younger.
Yeah.
We exercised that feeling and those experiences.
Yes. Correct.
And I don't feel that I have like an itch to scratch now.
I'm
Because I've been there and I've done it.
I'm the same, yeah. And again, like you think about, you know, if I was sitting in my grot watching TV, and you were saying what is the worst thing you could think of doing right now? It would be to be pissed in a nightclub, you know, loud music around loads of. I'd be like, that is not.
I can't think of anything worse than that.
The alternative,
or maybe if you were still in your grot, but you were just drinking on your own piss.
Okay, that's worse.
That is bad.
That is bad. But the alternative, I mean, we're going to see Zach Bryan on Sunday, and that'll be in like an open field. It'll be up until 10 o'clock. You know, there'll be obviously I'll be inebriated on that, but it'll be early. It'll be in the daytime. You know, you might stretch the alcohol consumption out across time. So like it won't be too bad in terms of the negative effects, and it does enhance some experiences. So yeah, there's a place for it in my mind, but I think you can get much the same benefit from non-alcoholics. To your point,
that's it, mate. We'll see how long we can do.
That's it. 24 months.
Push for 2 years.
Let's go.
Woo!
That's fucking huge achievement.
Well, what's your final one then, lad? I have a feeling I know what it is, but
yeah, well, we're in it.
We're living in it,
pretty much. Yeah, so it happened literally 2 days ago. The move in, my new apartment. So this has been something I've been like obviously thinking about for ages, but I only really put pen to paper almost. Actually, Croatia was funny. That was like they were like you can't. We had the conversation.
Well, I think we saw how much
your own space can maybe do for you potentially.
For sure, I think that you've hit the nail on the head.
Yeah,
I think potentially you'd like, not that you'd been avoiding that, but you hadn't actually put yourself in a situation where that could become apparent to you. Because for the past few years, I mean, really, like ever since I guess you joined the Marines, to an extent you've been a bit nomadic. In that you've been living in other people's gaffs, or you've been travelling. Like, you actually haven't been in a place where it's like actually this is my home.
It actually felt really weird yesterday. Actually, before you came up, I was like, I'm actually just here now for like
this is my place.
Period of time. Like this is so weird because, like I say, I've been in maybe an Airbnb for a month or 2 months, and there's always an end date to it. Whereas like this is just like where I am now. It's a bit strange, and it's nice in some ways. In some ways, it feels quite like confining. And it feels quite constraining, but. You know, I don't know.
Well, I think you are quite conscious of that feeling of being like trapped in that like commitment level.
Yes,
which is I think why it's a good thing that you've actually gone ahead and done it.
Yeah. I think it's like anything. It's like you reset to the mean, don't you? And like this feeling of now being a little bit new, and yes, you're paying rent now, and you're committed to a contract and whatever. That would just become the norm, and I'll be like, okay, it's just what happens. You know?
Yeah. Have you got a wish list of stuff? I mean, obviously, like it's amazing where you are. You're like right near the centre of Manchester and stuff. And for actual work and productivity, it'll be class.
It will be sick,
in terms of like, you've got a sweet work setup now. we fucking
squared
away yesterday. It's great for like networking because there's a big kind of like fitness culture in Manchester and stuff. But like outside of kind of work, have you got like a wish list of stuff you want to do over like the next year? Like fucking go and watch City play, or like go and watch, go and do stuff that you can only do in Manchester that's unique to Manchester. Have you got to that point yet?
I haven't got to that point really yet, but to your point about sport, yes, going to Old Trafford, going to the Etihad. I went to the Etihad not long ago, but like doing those things is class. That's an example of a time in which I am present. To our point before.
That's it. Yeah, live sports great for that.
You struggle to find that these days for sure. So yeah, those are cool. Like the opportunity for like live comedy or live music, that kind of thing where it's just on your doorstep and you're like, fuck, I'll go and do this tonight.
Yeah, I think the Frog and Bucket is the Manchester Comedy Club. But like, if you finish at like 6 on a Wednesday or something, you've got nothing to do, you could feasibly go and watch live comedy, go and watch a fucking gig, go and watch live football.
And you're there in 2 minutes.
That's it, yeah.
It's those
opportunities just aren't available to you. Certainly where you were living before that.
Exactly. So I think, engage in a bit of that, try and inject myself into some sort of gym community is going to be key somewhere, but probably hybrid, to be honest. And then, we'll see kind of where that takes us, I guess. But I'll still definitely be travelling. I'll still, I'm not hermetically sealed. I'm still going to be in and around Europe.
Reassuring your concubines.
Yeah. Still going to be travelling, but, it's... It's good actually to have my own space, which
Mate,
is
it's
going to be ideal.
It's a class apartment.
It's so good.
I'll never leave. That's what I'm worried about. I'll come up and see you in a few weeks, and it'll be like, when Quagmire discovers the internet, and his right forearm's just fucking massive.
Beard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Tom Hanks from Castaway.
Nah, it'll be really cool, and like obviously hosting the boys or whatever is cool. The actual apartment itself is really nice and new, so
It's brand new.
literally brand new. No one's lived in it before, and like that means that everything's just seamless. Everything works and everything's like fast, and it just makes myself so much more productive. And your environment is fucking absolutely everything. So if you're in a position you're lucky enough to curate that in a certain way, then you should do that.
That's
in
for
my
sure.
opinion.
Control the controllables, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you're in a position where you can manipulate and curate your environment to, so it can better suit your goals and what you need.
Think about like what influences your quality of life more. Is there anything? Nothing.
What, the fucking habitat that you kind of live in
Literally.
day out, day out. Like there's that.
Yeah. That's it, right?
It's like, would you rather be like a lion in a fucking zoo enclosure or a lion in the savannah? Like, where are you going to thrive more?
Exactly.
If you have control, and obviously, a lion doesn't have control over that, but you do have control over your.
It's true.
So if you're choosing to basically live in a prison cell because you can't be asked to kind of put the things in place that you do need to thrive, then that's on you. That's mental.
No, I agree.
If you have control over that,
make it as nice as you can.
Yeah.
Make it as conducive as you can. To that end, though, to that point, I signed a 12-month lease, and so I'm going to use this 12 months, to my point before, as a run-up, hopefully, to be able to move to the States. Yeah. I may document it.
to build an empire.
Yeah.
And then leave the empire.
Well, yeah. I may.
Like Britain.
I may document my experiences with the US visa system, because it's fucking mental. Like, some of the hoops you have to jump through and some of the things you have to do are crazy.
What's a guy got to do to live his cowboy fantasy?
I know, it's what I want to do.
You should just buying a Stetson should be enough.
It should.
Really,
you should be able to buy some cowboy boots and a Stetson. It should be good to go.
Free reign.
Thing is, what I don't understand about this, I get into this a bit, but like Mexicans, obviously, people they kind of frown on them or whatever. They're not maybe bringing skill to the work. Maybe they're not financially in a good position. Whatever it is, and there's conservative views on that, of course. But someone who's going to come and pay taxes, and like going to come and invest in, maybe hiring US people or whatever, like it's a net positive, a net benefit for them to have me in. So I don't get it.
And also, I think
Trump, if you're watching,
he's not listening to anyone. Also, and I think the statistics around immigration is that if you're an immigrant in a country, you tend to outwork the native population, because you've obviously chosen more often than not.
Fair.
If it's economic migration, you've chosen to be there.
Fair.
Whereas a lot of the people who were just born there, it's all they've known. They're potentially a bit fed up. So that's a really strong argument for letting you in, I would argue. In that, there's a lot of people in Austin probably fucking going through the motions. You actually actively want to be there because you like it.
And I've chosen that over all the other places you could be in to go. So, yeah, I just feel, to our point before about environment, tremendously productive when I'm there. I feel there's a lot of opportunity. So, whilst I maybe can, I feel like I should try that at least. And, I always think, trying to make decisions and stuff, think about if I'm 60 and I never tried it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
Shit, innit? So
if there are any,
give it a go.
If there are any females in Austin listening, and you are in the market for a shotgun wedding,
and
then get in touch.
And you do want £5,000 to marry me, then you crack on. But in all seriousness, if there are any immigration lawyers watching,
fuck
long shot.
We come out with some delusion on this podcast, but that's right.
You never know. No, but that's my plan over the next 12 months, to explore that certainly as an option. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, that was my number 5.
Well, we're all caught up now, aren't we? So that's basically what we've been up to, and it's all about looking forward now.
Yeah. So now we have an actual dedicated space to film this podcast. We are going to be more diligent with it.
Yes, well, actually, what we should do now is set some boundaries and manage expectations around kind of uploads and what to expect.
Yeah.
So I think straight from the bat, the goal is that we'll utilise the actual podcasting equipment that's in this room that we haven't been able to kind of get our head around in the half an hour that we had before this.
Yes.
So in relation to quality, like production quality, hopefully that will increase. But even so, this is still pretty good.
This is still a step up.
This is still workable for sure.
To be honest, yeah.
And secondly, around kind of like upload schedules, we're not going to bite off more than we can chew and commit to kind of one a week again, like we were doing before.
No, because we're now not in the same location. We're going to have to batch film these, and so it probably makes more sense to aim for one every 2 weeks.
I think one every 2 weeks, so 2 a month, and then that way, because there's not the pressure to just kind of churn them out once a week, we can put more time and energy into the actual content of the episodes. So we can plan it, and like we were saying, we're going to actually have topics that we cover, like the initial below the bars that did really well, rather than us just gobbing off about basically what we've done that week. It's actually going to be like, we'll revisit the obesity epidemic. We're going to like kind of try and
into the military.
Try and reinvent the lifting the lid stuff, because that's all really valuable. And there's loads of stuff that's happened while we've been away that is very worthy of episodes in itself. So
yeah, again, we've pretty much like skimmed the surface there, haven't we? So yeah, there's definitely more to cover, and that's going to be kind of the plan over the next couple of months. It'll be one every 2 weeks is going to be the aim, and like Ed said there, that gives us an opportunity to invest more into that individual episode. So the production value, the value of each episode should be increased. So just expect one every 2 rather than one
a week.
Once a while, or once every fucking 8 months.
I think that's fair. but other than that, I mean, we've actually we've gobbed off for longer than I thought there. So I think we'll wrap it up.
Call it there, I think. But,
we
don't starving.
Don't want to play all of our cards at once.
No, but
we've done that before, and then we've spunked our load.
We've done that before as well. Right. So that's us. I mean, I'll see you in 2 weeks.
We won't see you next week. We'll see you in 2.
Yeah. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Our return to the game. Let us know in the comments if you've got any fucking ideas for us to cover.
Actually, yeah, that's a pertinent point.
Yeah, and make sure you subscribe. Fuckers.